Hello everyone, welcome to the world of Lean Six Sigma. I am Mohit Sharma, your mentor and coach on Lean Six Sigma issues and problems. Today we are going to learn a case study which is solved with the help of Lean Value Stream Mapping. So let's begin with the video. The case study is, in a leading BPO in India, there is a customer contact center team that was responding to the customer queries related to water bills. Team had an agreement to respond with a resolution to the queries within 2 working days, and there was a huge delay in this process. And the team was taking 8 working days to respond, so that was a huge problem for the process. Management of the company has decided to resolve this issue, and they appointed a Lean Six Sigma team that was led by a quality black belt. So the team decided to follow 8-step lean methodology. In step 1, they wanted to define the problem. In step 2 to 4, they wanted to do the value stream mapping and identify the Kaizens. In step 5 to 8, team created solution implementations and controlled the improved state. The first thing that was done was to understand the voice of customer and voice of business. The voice of the customer was that there is a problem in query resolution. And what was the issue? The query resolution takes long time. And the critical customer requirement was to reduce this query resolution TAT. This side of the slide gives us critical to quality. In quality project, we call them CTQs. So the CTQ for this particular process was to reduce query resolution TAT from 8 working days to 2 working days. So then they looked at some of the data and they decided, okay, we want to reduce it from 8 to 2 as per the agreed SLAs. When the team heard the voice of the business voice was customer query resolution is taking a lot of time. So what was the business issue? They had unsatisfied customers, and the critical business requirement was to reduce the query turnaround time. And it gives us critical to process, which is also known as CTP. So the CTP for this particular business problem was to reduce the customer query resolution turnaround time from 8 working days to 2 working days. So when CTQ and CTP they both match, it means both the business and the customer are trying to resolve the same problem. That is when the problem was identified and picked up to be resolved as a project. The next thing that the team did was to create the business case and project charter. The project charter has 6 elements: business case, problem statement, goal statement, scope of the project, milestones, and then the team charter. The problem statement was identified by looking at the data. So without data, you cannot define your problem statement. So the data was measured for the last 3 months and they figured out that the query resolution process is taking 8 working days on an average. So they took 2 goal statements. The first goal was to reduce the query resolution TAT from 8 working days to 2 working days by July 2022. And the second goal statement was to increase the rolled first pass yield from 45.73% to 100% by July 2022. So the amount of rework which is happening in the process was huge. If you look at the RFPY value of 45.73%, it means approximately 54% of the times the rework was happening in the process in one or the other process steps. So we will get into the details once we go to the next phase of the project, which is the value stream mapping. The scope of the project was customer contact team, and rest of the teams were or the departments were out of scope. Milestones, the team started the project from January 2022 and they finished it by July 2022. Under team charter, we had sponsor as Vice President Operations, champion as AVP Operations, mentor as Mohit Sharma, and process owner as Operations Managers. So there were different team members that were also involved. The next thing that the team did was to identify the reasons for high turnaround time. So they did a brainstorming session. Under people head, they had human errors and rework as one of the issues. A lot of manual activities they were involved. There were unplanned absenteeism on the floor which was happening. Under mother nature, they had different time zones in which the people were working. Under measurement, they had no clear linkages with the metrics and there were no real-time updates which are happening from the system of the tool. Under machine, old and outdated systems were used and legacy tools were there. Under material, they had no structured process documentation and there was no process standardization. So these are the issues under material and method. Inefficient request flow and difficult to track action plans were some of the highlighted causes of this particular high turnaround time. Further, team wanted to understand the end-to-end process, so they created value stream mapping. The process starts with they receive the letter or the email. The letter was allocated to a resource. Then the query was analyzed and the information was searched on different systems. Then they will draft the response and then they will validate the draft, and then a letter or an email will be sent to the end customer. If you look at the cycle time for letter receiving was 2 minutes, letter allocation was 2 minutes, query analysis was taking 42 minutes, and searching on different systems was taking 37 minutes. Drafting a response took 15 minutes. Validate the draft takes 10 minutes, and letter or the email sent back will take another 10 minutes. And there were a lot of wait times in between these process steps, which are marked in red. And the first pass yield of all these steps are written below. The first pass yield of first step was 91.67%. For the second step was 83.33%. It means there could be a possibility that the entire information is not present in the letter or in the email. It has to be sent back to the customer for more information. That is why the first pass yields were low at these points. When the query was analyzed, they were not able to resolve 100% of the queries. So they were asking their team leaders, or they were parking these queries in the query log, and then they were later responded. So the first pass yield became 75%. Or if they have analyzed the query, the resolution was not accurate. So that is also one of the reasons of low FPY. And then the information was searched on various systems. Sometimes they will get the information, sometimes they will not. So the first pass yield is 91.67% here. They draft some response, the response is not appropriate sometimes, and the response has to be reworked. So that is why the first pass yield is 91.67% on this particular step. And validation of draft was 95% accurate, because sometimes you receive customer feedback also on the response. And the letter or the email which was sent, sometimes it is sent to the wrong address, or sometimes an email address which was copied is not correct, and some emails were bounced back or some letters returned. So overall, if you multiply all these first pass yields, you will get rolled first pass yield, which in this case is 45.73%. Total cycle time is 118 minutes in this particular step, and total wait time was 603 minutes. Process capability is calculated by dividing the total cycle time divided by total time. So which is 118 divided by 721 gives you 16.3%. So the process efficiency was very low for this particular process. Friends, you can buy my authored books on Amazon. My first book is 8 Steps to Problem Solving, which talks about Six Sigma concepts. And my second book is Continuous Improvement, the Lean Way, which talks about the lean concepts. Then team did some brainstorming further and identified IT and non-IT Kaizens. IT Kaizens are marked in green color and their steps are being shown where they have been implemented, and non-IT Kaizens are marked in red. So some of the IT Kaizens were auto allocation, remove multiple systems and bring one tool, eliminate flipping between multiple files and folders by automating, customer portals gives standard response form with mandatory field. Sometimes what happens is there was a form which the customers has to fill on a website, or maybe download from the website and fill, and there were some fields which they were not filling. That is why the rework was happening. So it was made mandatory. Web portal was also one of the categories which were introduced for customers to contact the company. So that web portal had some mandatory fields in it. If you will not fill those, they'll not be able to submit their queries or forms. This was done so that the complete information is received in the first go to solve customer's query. The second non-IT Kaizens were to create the standard process document, draft 95% standard responses, and just do some alterations and send those responses. The refresher training to the resources so that they do not ask so many basic questions to the team leaders and spend more time. So all of these were implemented, and once the entire IT and non-IT Kaizens were implemented, they created the future state value stream map in which it was shown most of the time was reduced. First pass yield was 100%. Total cycle time was reduced to 23 minutes. Total wait time was gone. It is only 3 minutes now. So the process capability is 88.4%. So with the help of this particular project, team was able to meet the goal of reducing the turnaround time from 8 minutes to 2 minutes. The customer satisfaction was enhanced and there was a lot of saving in terms of resource hours. So friends, I hope this video is helpful in understanding what is the application of 8-step lean methodology, how you can implement that methodology to solve your problems. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share this video with your friends. I'll see you in my next upcoming video. Till then, take care. Bye bye.